Hello everyone, welcome to GSS Perception of Outsourcing, the KPO edition. My name is Debbie Bissoon and welcome to the show. Today we have another exciting interview for you. Today we have Mr. Kishman Spence. He is the Executive Director from KPMG JESS. How are you, Mr. Spence? Good to have you.
Thank you for having me, Debbie. I'm doing good. Happy to be sharing in this edition with you.
Absolutely. I have so many questions because when I saw KPO, I was like, KPO? I know about BPO, there is ITO. So what is KPO?
Right. I think you might find varying definitions. The way I like to look at it is BPO is an umbrella term that speaks to organizations outsourcing different aspects of their business to third parties. And under that umbrella, there are many specializations. And the one we're talking about today is KPO, and that's Knowledge Processing Outsourcing. And what some people might like to think of as a distinction between the two is BPO tends to be lower skill, lower complexity. You find KPO, higher knowledge requirements, embedded with technology, and very driven by data and analytics.
Okay. So let's talk about that in regards to KPMG and what it is that you actually offer.
All right. So the journey with KPMG's KPO started 6 years ago. Our KPMG and Jamaica partners went to the US trying to pitch the opportunity of doing audit for them. Now, as many people might know, KPMG has been a business in Jamaica doing auditing, tax, and advisor for well over 100 years. And they were trying to do more of the same old business. And that deal didn't quite go as they planned, and they learned in that pitch that there was actually a need that the KPMG US business had. They were looking for folks to transition what they call their non-core business. Their core business is connecting with their clients, and they see everything else as enablement and viable for offshoring. And so without any experience in it, the partner has been very enterprising, said, we think we want to throw our hat in the ring at this. And what started as a very small pilot of 6 employees in Jamaica doing payroll support, which is a financial process outsourcing, has today blossomed into well over 600 people, 53 unique knowledge process areas that we're doing for that single client, KPMG USA.
Very interesting. And I hear you mention auditing. I hear you mention, tax payment services as well. So let's dive into the opportunities in the KPO market. What are they?
All right. They're vast and varied. I'll tell you a little bit more intimately about what we do for KPMG US. Our largest team today in JESS is finance and accounting. And under the finance and accounting umbrellas, there are careers in general accounting, in payroll, in strategic finance, and reporting and analytics. We have careers in the legal area as well. We are in Jamaica, we're doing contract compliance for the KPMG US business. We have a entire HR shared service, and those are looking at benefits compliance for the US business again. We have some exciting opportunities in the area of marketing, where we're doing proposal writing, we're doing marketing support, we're doing brand governance. We're now into risk management, which is an entirely new field we're in, looking at managing risk and independence for the US business. So every minute, we keep growing that fleet. The latest challenge that we have today is data and project management. That's where the market in the US is saying, we need help. These are higher value services. We're talking about roles like data scientist, data architect. We're talking about project managers. And that's really, kind of a menu of the range of services that we offer today.
Yeah. And what are the unique opportunities for, Jamaicans?
Well, if you hear that kind of range of service that I shared, and you think of a potential college graduate, whether you're doing HR, you're doing business, we have careers. In fact, what's very exciting for some time, persons who would have had a career in the sciences would have been left out in the cold and say, what happened to us? And now there are opportunities as we're building out data science. One of the things we're doing is we're starting a data and analytics lab, and we are building that with university graduates, fresh out of school, 0 experience. We're going to provide all of the training, all of the certification, and those people can begin to have rewarding careers in the field of data.
Yeah. And what kind of companies are looking for this kind of service?
All type of companies.
Yeah.
I think something remarkable happened in the world of business, I think, around about the 80s, Prior to this, organizations thought they needed to do the A to Z of their business. And increasingly, as globalization and technology started to happen, people realized, identify your core. What do you really need to do? And the rest of it is non-core. So every entity you can think of that's a small and medium enterprise is able to draw that line and say, really, this is what distinguishes me in the marketplace, and this is me. And these are all just enabling functions. So, can I find somebody in some part of the globe who might be able to do these supporting activities for me, in a cost-effective, sometimes it's not even cost, it's the third party could bring greater expertise than you have within your business.
Yeah. What makes Jamaica so unique, though, with this kind of offering to the world? Couldn't they have, seek this business offering somewhere else?
And they have.
Yeah.
In fact, that story I shared with you about the 6 folks who started in payroll, KPMG US, prior to that, had done its payroll operations in India. And they no longer do that. All of that business has moved to Jamaica. What makes Jamaica special? First thing is cultural affinity. Jamaicans understand the lingua, the culture, the way of life of Americans. So there's little need for translation when you're working. People just work and they understand each other. The proximity for the clients to come down. A big part of what makes our model work is our clients come into our workspace and work with us and alongside us. And they don't have to take a plane and 2 days later they get to some disparate part of the world. They're direct flights that drop them right here, and before the day is out, they're in the office and they can head back up. So proximity, cultural affinity. I think we have great English, which I think is differentiating us from competitors in Asia. And I think there's a Jamaican work ethic here, and I hear it from my clients. They say, "Man, we just love the team." People, when they are engaged and committed about work, they make it happen, and people value that.
Absolutely. And your ideal vision for this sector would be?
Increasingly, it's adapting to the future of where the industry is going. And where it's going requires organizations to bring a value add to their clients. So at the end of the day, the cost comparison between for an entity in the US to have a shared service operation in India, in the Philippines, in Jamaica, at the end of the day, we're not separated by, multiples. It's an even playing field. So the question is, what incentive do we give them to choose Jamaica?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with adapting and bringing value to them. So if they ask for A to C, how do we give them D? How do you give them something which differentiates and distinguishes service that we're offering?
And if somebody's watching right now and thinking to themselves, well, you know what, this is just past me and I don't think I can enter this particular sector now in my life, what would you tell them?
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Never too late. Thank you so much, Kishman. We learned a lot, and I hope you guys from home learned a lot too. Please, if you need more information, you can go on to the website at gssjamaica.com. That is www.gssjamaica.com, and make sure that you follow them on social media at GSS Jamaica. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe.